Good morning, Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Theresa May, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohammed, Chairman of the African Union Commission, heads of states and governments in attendance, representatives of nations and organizations. It's indeed a great honor to be addressing you all today at this special conference on Somalia's future in this beautiful city of London. I'm delighted to be sharing this historic day with our key partners, all of whom have stood by our people and nation in our greatest period of need. I would like to take this opportunity to especially thank our great host, Prime Minister Theresa May, and her government for commitment and bringing this conference to fruition. As many of you know, this is not the first conference for Somalia hosted by the UK. For that, we thank you, Prime Minister. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, Somalia successfully concluded a long and complicated election process on the 8th February 2017. On that day, representatives of Somali people voted for change and a new direction for our country. I was humbled by the enormous public support I received following the election. I am, however, very aware of the high expectations the Somali people have for me, starting with improved security and provision of basic services such as health and education. Although we are working tirelessly to meet everyone's expectations, in the meantime, we hope to gradually improve our citizens' lives. The successful and peaceful transfer of power following my election was a reminder of Somalia's potential as a beacon of democracy and hope in one of the most unstable regions in the world. In fact, Somalia has a long and proud tradition of democracy going back to independence in 1960. We were the first country in Africa wherein a sitting president transferred power peacefully after losing national election. Despite the enormous challenges my country faces, we strive to those ideals. We believe that the only path to fully recovering Somalia is strengthening our democratic institutions. To that end, I will spare no effort to realizing the promise of my campaign, which was to fight Somalia's three major enemies: terrorism, corruption, and poverty. My vision revolves around these three issues, and the way to address them starts with building vital state institutions with a focus on security apparatuses and championing on an overall reform agenda. Most importantly, I will take measurable steps to unleash the great potential of my people to develop their own country and to do what they know best: trade and commerce. I strongly believe that trade is the surest way to reduce poverty and generate mass employment. Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, my reform agenda started with selecting capable and proven leader as a Prime Minister. Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khaire brings a decade of experience as a senior executive in the humanitarian and development sector, and later as a successful businessman. Capitalizing on this experience and network, and following extensive consultation with all actors, the Prime Minister formed a technocratic cabinet that includes 6 female ministers, the largest in our history, and many young ministers representing 85% of our population who are under the age of 40 years old. One of the new young minister was former refugee camp in Dadaab, the world's largest refugee camp in Kenya. His compelling story gives insight into the transformation my country is going through. Unfortunately, his life was cut short last week, but his legacy remains with us. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I recognize that a good cabinet is only as good as the service it delivers to its people. And in Somalia, delivering anything hinges largely on getting politics right. Good politics must be inclusive, participatory, vibrant, and on a leveling playing field. In this regard, we are committed to solidifying our federal system of governance, which has been in place only since 2004. Our overall vision is to achieve a strong and cooperative union which works for all Somalis and enhance equity and good governance. We are thankful a step closer to this objective, as illustrated by the recent historic formation of a new National Security Council, which includes federal member states. The National Security Council is not only a platform for dialogue on security issues, but on broader matter of national importance. The fact that all heads of federal member states are with me here today speaks volumes of our collective effort towards a strong and cooperative union. Together with other stakeholders, we will be engaging in in-depth discussion around matters of national importance. We are already engaging in a deep dialogue on sharing of natural resources. This is and other areas will be discussed in the context of constitutional review process. As the leaders of Somalia, we recognize that the Constitution is the document that binds us together. However, our political effort will not stop there. In the coming months, we will complete legislation around political parties so that all members of parliaments and other interested groups can form their political parties legally. We are determined to encourage a vibrant political environment which upholds the best practices of democracy, freedom of assembly, and freedom of speech, of which are enshrined in our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, security remains paramount of my administration. The new national security architecture and the Security Pact give us the tool we need to strengthen our Somali National Army and introduce an improved policing model. Together with the African mission in Somalia, I am confident that we can defeat Al-Shabaab in the next few years. Once we recover the remaining territories and secure supply routes, we will stabilize the country by building local administrations in collaboration with the federal member states. We believe that communities are best placed to collaborate with local, state, and federal government to stabilize the country. But the government needs the necessary tools to be able to defeat Al-Shabaab. For far too long, our security forces and terrorist groups have been fighting using the same type of light weapons, mostly AK-47. Despite the bravery of our men and women in uniform, we were locked in symmetrical battle with the terrorists. Without armed forces who are supplied with heavy weapons, we would not have been able to defeat Al-Shabaab. The long-standing arms embargo on Somalia severely restricted our ability to procure heavy weapons despite the partial lifting of the embargo in 2013. Time has come for Somalia to be able to get access to qualitatively better equipment and weapons than terrorism. In this regard, we are working with our partner and the Security Council to develop a clearly defined roadmap to full lifting of the arms embargo. This would include the improvement we must make to our weapon management, command and control system. Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to this security sector support we receive from our friends, we are grateful to all partners for their unwavering and sustained support over the years. Many provide financial support, while others provide technical and logistical support. One partner I would like to dedicate special gratitude is AMSOM. Their peacekeepers have been working with us for 10 years, much longer anyone expected. During that time, they have sacrificed many soldiers in the quest to help Somalis defeat al-Shabaab and rebuild our security forces. Their sacrifices will not go in vain. A vital element of rebuilding our security apparatus is to radically improve on coordination among international partners on the security front. I will welcome the genuine attempt to address these fundamental problems through the creation of Comprehensive Assistance to Security, or CAS group. This group, in close collaboration with the Somali National Security Office, must end duplicity and fragmentation in the security support sector. On our side, the National Security Council is designed to do the same. Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, the insecurity situation cannot be changed without addressing its root causes, which is abject poverty and mass unemployment. Too many of our young generation are sitting idle, creating fertile ground for terrorists to recruit from. We must tackle this issue with a robust economic recovery plan. To this end, we have identified the priority of the priorities within the National Development Plan, the NDP, which clearly articulates our development agenda, is based on sound evidence and extensive consultations across the country. Our partner should align their support with the priority of National Development Plan, which are focused on strategic investment in key sectors such as productive sector of agriculture, livestock, and fishing. Moreover, major investment would have to be made in vital infrastructure, starting with renewable energy, clean water, and road construction. That's the only way to create mass employment. But all that investment needs substantial resources, and our meager revenue can barely cover our budget. Access to international financial institutions is restricted due to the existing arrears. In this regard, I'm delighted that we have now developed a well-defined, milestone-based roadmap to arrears clearance and normalization of relationship with international financial institutions. I commend the work of the World Bank and IMF, together with our finance minister, on this crucial work. This is an area that I will personally follow to ensure that we are meeting our obligations. Many countries and organizations have demonstrated willingness to cancel their loan. Here I recognize the League of Arab States, who announced that member states are prepared to forgive their loan during their summit in Amman in March. We are grateful to our Arab brothers and sisters for this. When it comes to the economic development, the greatest asset we have is the entrepreneurial spirit of our people. My administration will take measurable steps to unlock their potential by removing barriers to doing business in Somalia and promoting small and medium enterprises. One major barrier is the inability of our financial institutions to access their international counterparts. The money transfer businesses, who send a combined amount of about $2 billion a year to Somalia, are struggling to access banks here in the UK and in the United States due to the severe restriction placed on them. This despite the fact that we made tangible progress over the past few years. Time has come to facilitate access for our financial institutions to work with your banks. a continuation of current policy which undoubtedly deprive crucial access for our banks and, as a consequence, will limit employment opportunity in the financial sector. Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, for too long, the conventional wisdom has been that Somalia was a problem to fix, and the people perfect humanitarian example due to the failure of state to do its job. Today, my administration is committed to seizing this golden opportunity to nurture and deliver on a better, stronger, and more prosperous Somalia, led by the hopes and aspirations of its people. This is the best way to continue the process of changing the prevailing narrative. Despite the extraordinary challenges that my people face, we must remember that they withstood both natural and man-made calamities, and with their classic resilience, started some of the most successful telecom and remittance companies in Africa. Together with our partners, my administration aims to capitalize on this good-given talent for a better Somalia, one that can secure itself, manage its politics, and revive its economy. The new Partnership for Somalia provides an excellent framework for cooperation and coordination. The NPS puts government leadership at the heart of implementation of programs and projects. It allows to hold each other accountable, which I wholeheartedly welcome. If my administration fails, we hope you hold us to account. We promise to do the same. Only in that spirit we can lift Somalia to a new height. In conclusion, there have been many conferences in the past on Somalia and for Somalia. Today's events are different because I can assure and reassure you that Somalis will never turn back to its difficult past. It will only go forward toward progress and prosperity, as is the will of its people and the priority of its government. In engaging with us on the vast array of issues for discussions ahead during this conference, please be confident of the sincerity of this promise. I thank you all.
Thank you very much.